Hey, what's going on? This is LR Knight with Lionborn Publishing, and I know I'm a little bit late doing this, but I'm early in the day because it is a dark, cold, snowy Sunday where I am. And in this preview video, which is going to be kept pretty short, I just want to look at a new feature coming in the Field Manual version 2.0 for Feet First into Hell. So I've been working on this for honestly, about 18 months. I had ideas for how to expand the role-playing function of the skirmish game, the role-playing aspect of the skirmish game, pretty early on, but it was just beyond my design capabilities at the time. So instead of shoehorning it in or shoehorning it into an expansion, I've been really slow cooking the role-playing aspect. In our playtests, we've done a couple of campaigns using a couple Spectres. In my own solo playtests, I have a Spectre team that has one Spectre on it and then a handful of other units that have slowly increased in power. They started as conscripts and then they're working their way up towards officership. So Spectres are replacing the old elites. If you have a field manual and you pop that sucker open, there was this section on recruiting elite units, and they were just like a cut above the rest, but they didn't have any special powers. It basically became a stat line. And I wanted to go beyond just basic stat line bonuses. But it took me a little while to figure out what that would look like, because I do have a role-playing game that I wrote. That took me the better part of 3 years, and I don't want the Spectres to take over the entire game. In Inheritors, my role-playing game, the Inheritor classes are the centerpiece of the game. So I wanted to have a skirmish game that has some role-playing elements and a role-playing game that has some skirmish elements. Feet First into Hell is the skirmish game that has some role-playing elements. So, how do you make a role-playing class that functions within a tabletop skirmish game? So it can't go overboard, the powers can't be too ludicrous, but they do need to hold out enough difference that a player might be interested in adding one, but also keep them mortal, because it's a tabletop skirmish game, so the units ought to die like pretty often. So the idea here are Spectres. They're Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. And I'm not going to read the lore. I don't think that's a good way to do this video. I think it'll just bloat the video. I'm trying to keep it at like 5-6 minutes. But here's the idea. When you're going into a difficult, tough mission, or you're playing part of a connected campaign, you want to have a character that has a little bit more personality, a little bit more oomph. I'm going to help you develop that character. It's going to have a lot of versatility. You're going to have a lot of variety. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea. As a Spectre is an elite character with special powers. Now, they are more expensive. The base cost for a level 1 Spectre with no equipment is always 13 points. So it's already starting out significantly more expensive than your baseline units. But when you invest in that character, you get these things called tactical upgrades, and that's up here. So a tactical upgrade is a unique power that allows you to customize what that unit can do. Some of them are passive, some of them are like role-playing actions you can take, and some of them are team buffs, and it does indicate that right there in the tactical upgrade table for that class. Levels aren't permanent, though. You're deciding what are you equipping on that unit. So you could strip those all off and keep that minimum 1 tactical upgrade. And that is different than Inheritors for sure. The powers, the tactical upgrades, are treated as if they're just more war gear for your unit. It does make a unit more expensive, but you could take an additional 12 points, so now you get 25 points, and come loaded with 3 major tactical options that can make or break the game. And then there's some special origins for Spectres if you're into that kind of thing. This is always optional. Origin stuff never actually affects the characters in my game, although backgrounds do, and that's a little bit different. This is just like the overview, the oeuvre for the character. So I'll show you a couple of the different classes. I'm going to do videos showcasing each one of these as I get art for them. So today I'm just going to give you an overview, but here's the layout of the pages. It's not final. This hasn't been textured, for example. This I think I'm going to make bigger, but here's your base stat line for an armor Spectre. So it costs you 25 points to employ it. That could be up to a quarter of your team budget, which is why these shouldn't always be on a team unless you're playing part of a connected campaign, where maybe having 4 or 5 characters is better than having like 12 to manage. 3 rating, which is better than average, 2 might, which is the best you can get. So he's very strong, but he's slow. He has a lot of shields. He's got a fair number of wounds under there too. He's a little bit on the slow side. He comes equipped with an Aegis Mark II war skin. He's got a shotgun, a generator, and well, that shouldn't say that. That should be it's grenade. It's just too early and I'm not reading correctly. So he's got 2 grenades. This not final. The Aegis Mark II and the shotgun though, that's definitely what this bad boy is going to start with. So there's a little bit of lore. There's a combat roll on when to deploy these, and then we've got the tactical upgrades over here. So you've got heavy weapons, which allows you to equip heavier versions of the rocket launcher, shotgun, railgun. They're basically the big boy toys. You got a chain drive, which allows you to modify any weapon that has a drum mag on it. So it wouldn't make sense to equip this tactical upgrade unless you had something that the drum mag was compatible with. And then phalanx, warframe, and then here's a special Spectre power. This is in an armor skin only available to the armor class. But basically it makes him into a Hulkbuster. And then War Stomp. It's kind of like Thunderwave from D&D. But basically you stomp the ground and knock everything down around you. And then you've got some specific backgrounds. So that's the armor class. And I'll go into this deeper, but you can see like the pink boxes indicate where I don't have art yet. But each one of these already has all the tactical upgrades. There's probably like a dozen possible backgrounds to choose from. I've got the stat lines in based on balance testing. Here's the Ghost. The Ghost is basically a rogue class, which if you play Inheritors, you know Inheritors doesn't have a rogue class because of the lore. Well, it's in Feet First into Hell, and it's a lot of fun, especially one equipped with like Lone Wolf or Dragon Walk. When we do our play testing, a lot of times the player who has a Ghost Spectre often isn't even doing what the rest of us are doing. He's off doing mission objectives on his own because he's so fast and so competent. So very neat way to play. A team full of ghosts is kind of a joke. Livewire is a hacker. Pathfinder is like a recon sniper. Tactician is a leader. So think your chapter master, the guy who knows all the tactics. They're commanding things on the field. They're the quarterback, I guess. And then Valkyrie is the medic unit. So there you go. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different Spectre classes to choose from on top of everything else that Feet First into Hell 2.0 is bringing you. I'll do some shorter videos showcasing each of these when I get closer to launch, whether that's Kickstarter or just dropping it to market. Still haven't decided. But yeah, I think each one of these is a lot of fun to play. We refined them until we liked playing as each one. And it is very different than a role-playing class where once you choose a power, you're kind of stuck with it. You're on that path. These characters are experts in all of these things, but you don't always bring every toy you have to the playground. And that's the idea behind Spectres. It's a highly customizable specialist unit rather than a role-playing class that you're stuck with. So hopefully that sounds cool. Man, the video is already 8 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm going to get off because I'm going to go get some coffee. It's very early. And next week, I think I'm going to come back and I'll just do a little bit more of like a poke through the book. Maybe we'll look at the enemy logic page. So, all right. See ya. Happy December. Merry Sunday. And I'll catch you next week.